Hello, everyone. Look, happy Thursday. It is Monique Denton, your host of SIS Table Talk, founder of Embrace Your Cake and the Sisters Inspire Sisters Network. I am back. It has been a journey. We are going to talk about this, about Sis Get Up. I have my sister friend here with me today, Coach. Some of you know her as Coach AB, okay? This is my sister. When I tell you we connected, I'm not going to even get into that story right now, but this is my sister, Coach AB, Angela Brand, the world's #1 master fire speaker trainer, and I hope I got that correct. Coach AB, look, you pushed me to this, so I just want to thank you for supporting me. And before we get started, let me just, we need a round of applause for all the sisters. Yes, the SIS Table Talk is back, okay? It's a short break. So we are applauding ourselves and we are applauding all of the sisters.
Man, that's amazing.
Oh my goodness. So let me say this. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have you in my circle, to support me and to constantly reach out. Our title is Sis Get Up, and you constantly reached out to me and was like, okay. And the last text you sent me, which was last week, was basically like, what time we doing this? What time? And then I said to you, okay, what's the topic? And then, of course, you put the topic on it. And I said, of course, it is my sister, the one that has to bring it out. But I did share a video a couple of weeks ago about, how I felt. I've been very open with everyone regarding the loss of my mom, which was in February 15th, 2022. And what I didn't realize, Angela, is that I was just moving. I was moving. I don't know if it was some type of trauma response, but I was moving. And although I know it happened, I wasn't really dealing with it. I just kept going. Event after event, conference after conference. I'm traveling here. I'm going there. I'm speaking here. I'm speaking there. Kind of like I wanted to block it out. And it wasn't until the 1-year anniversary this year, and I talked about this in the video, when I went to visit the gravesite, and I knew that I'm like, I'm not ready, but I'm like, I have to do this. I have to go see my mom. And I will tell you, the front wheels of the car, as soon as I got into the cemetery, that was it. Like, I literally broke down. Then I had a panic attack because I couldn't find her. And it was one of those, and I hadn't done this at the funeral, and I hadn't done this before, but literally all the emotions and I guess acceptance of this is what it is. It was a breakdown, ugly cry, and I say to people, a lot of people say, my mom was my best friend. My mom wasn't my best friend. She didn't treat me like a best friend. My mom treated me like I'm your mama. This is, and when we have our parents, no matter what age we are, I always felt like, no matter what, you take it to mama and it's going to be okay. If your mother says it's okay and you're doing the right thing and you're on the right track, that it's okay. So when that person is no longer there and you question, who do you go to? So those are some of the things that I dealt with over the last 12 months. Who do I pick up the phone? Who do I go to? It is nothing like a mother's confirmation. So with that being said, I have had the support of not just family, my cousin, who's also our editor, but also just pushing me, and my sisters, you, of course, saying, sis, get up. Sis, get up. And I had gotten to a point where I will tell you, for about 4 months, I shut down. I wasn't answering phone calls. I wasn't answering text messages. I wasn't sending emails. I wasn't on social media. Matter of fact, I didn't even want to go on social media. Let me just be fully transparent. And for those of us that have been through loss and have suffered through loss, let's just keep it all the way a buck right now. When you have experienced something, although you don't feel, you know, you don't have anything against people, but it's difficult. It was difficult for me to scroll through social media and people are celebrating their mother's birthdays.
Yeah.
Here's my mom, 80th birthday, or here's my mom, or here's this. That was difficult. Like I literally went through a stage of feeling very angry because I felt that it wasn't her time. Disbelief, like I know this didn't happen, not my mother, like she's supposed to be here forever. But I'll say after February of this year, the breakdown that I had was sort of a relief.
Yeah.
And although I haven't been upfront and present, I have still been doing some coaching behind the scenes, still participating in certain events behind the scenes. But I understand that it's time to get up. I understand that I have to continue to create my own legacy. I understand that my goal is to have 1,000 women that will empower 1 million worldwide. I understand that we have a voice. I understand that we have a story. I understand that I was put here for a reason and my anointing cannot be stopped. There's going to be obstacles, but I have a purpose. My mom had a purpose, and I say her legacy, big shoes to fill, but she never wanted me to fill her shoes. She wanted me to walk in my own and to create my own. And that's why Sister Girl is getting up, and I'm not going to say that every day is going to be wonderful, but Sister Girl is getting up. I have a renewed sense of, Monique, you have work to do. You have work to do. So thank you for letting me get all of that out. As a coach, and a speaker and a friend and I'm just going to put it out there, and a preacher and a minister, you pastored before. How is it that you provide support to women like me? And what would you tell women like me that have gone through some things or that are going through some things?
Whew. First, I want to say I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you, right? Look, if you guys are listening, just stop for a moment, share this video to all the women that you know that have suffered some type of loss, that are stuck in the grief, that are stuck in the anger, you're stuck with all the questions. Share it, right? So I've learned so many things with dealing with loss, getting back up with different transitions of my life. And I have responded different to all of them, mainly because years ago I didn't have the proper tools. Now I deal with it differently. I want to share my journey, but then after I share the journey, I want to give you some nuggets on how to get up. I lost my dad at around about the age of 21, 22 from a situation where I was being rejected, as I would say. I was the child outside the marriage. When his wife found out, that ended our relationship. So I lost my dad 30 years ago. But I didn't grieve him until 2017 when he physically died. So I sat in a place of rejection for 25 years, but I did not grieve his loss until 2017. And just recently, I had to go through the grieving process again because now God has reunited me with his family that I've never met. So I had to feel his presence, listen to them talk about him, see the old pictures, talking about a man that I never knew because I lost him 30 years ago. And the first thing I would say is to sit in those feelings. Don't run, don't hide, don't sweep it under the rug. Sit in them, process them. That would be the first thing to do. Don't try to get your mind off of it. Don't try to smoke it up. Don't try to drink those feelings away. Don't try to go sex those feelings away. Don't try to go shop those feelings away. Don't go into instant gratification, but sit in those feelings. Because when you sit in those feelings in a safe environment, let me say this, a safe environment. Posting on social media about how you feel is not a safe environment. Talking to somebody who have never been through what you've been through is not a safe environment. Get professional help to process your feelings and your emotions. What you feel is valid. What you feel is real. And you have to be in a safe professional environment for somebody to help you process them. So as I've learned to sit in what I feel, journal down my feelings, get it out, talk it out, I realized that it was my first step to healing in that. I stopped trying to pray it away. I stopped trying to preach it away, but I sat in it.
You know, I just have to say something, and this is so good because what I realized is that the longer I ran, the longer I ran. Exactly. And when I finally got to the point where I couldn't run and move and function anymore, I just had to stop. It wasn't until that point of stopping and stillness and really acknowledgement, you know, of the situation, that I was able to really take a step forward. So we can run. You can run from this thing for years, you know, and I thought, who knew it was going to take me an entire year? And I know there's still other steps and other levels that I'm going to get to. But sometimes I think that people think because it doesn't impact them immediately that they're okay.
But
and that doesn't mean that.
But the thing is, we were not in a culture, an environment to where we were taught how to effectively experience loss and grief. We were taught, okay, hey, let's go celebrate the divorce. Why celebrate it when you haven't processed what happened?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's sit in this. If we take it biblically, even God gave them 30 days to grieve the loss. He told Josh, okay, you've been grieving for 30 days. Now it's time for you to get up. Because he gave him time. That's a human need to release, to detach, to heal from whatever loss that we have experienced. It's not the time to push your way through it. It's not that time. It's time to sit and process it, because you can't get up effectively when you're broken. You can't go and impact others when you're broken. Only thing you do is infect them. Right?
Yes.
So when you have that safe environment and somebody that can guide you along your process, hear you out, not judge you, not put a time limit on how you grieve. You will always grieve your mother. You will always miss your mother. But the good thing is, get this. If you can get this can free you. You learn how to live without her.
Yeah.
You're going to always feel her presence. You're going to always hear her voice. But you learn to live without her. You're going to always have those feelings. It get easier the more you sit and remember, the more you sit and celebrate her.
Right.
When we understand that there's going to be, we all have an expiration date. It's what we do with that dash that matters. The good thing, some of the good thing is when you understand how life works, how birth and death works, it helps you along the process. God give us the opportunity to have these relationships in our human experience, but we always connected to them spiritually.
Yes.
Now, what happens and when a hard grief come in, when there are regrets, when there's
Mm.
that you didn't deal with while that person was living, or you took advantage of, and these are all the things that you have to process and sit in,
Wow.
unpack all those different things.
This is good. This is good. And then moving forward, understanding and knowing that you can't change it. You can't
No,
change it. And that gives you, and that brings up something else when people say give people their flowers while they're here. I always did that. I will say that I was probably the best daughter that there is. But I do know and understand that there are people sometimes that wish that they could have done things differently. And
yeah,
instead of getting to that point where you wish you did things differently, take the opportunity now. Those that can, while you have them now, while those people are here with you now, while you're in those relationships now,
yeah,
whatever it is, to say, you know what, I can do things differently. And then the other thing too about this whole is one, forgiveness. I also think acceptance and avoiding getting to a space where you have regrets. There is no day, no time, no hour, no minute is promised. But if you get to a point where you're functioning as if you have no regrets, and I mean, and I think about the way people ridicule and criticize, and we do this sometimes without self awareness. And I think about the sacrifices, right, that were made for us. And I'm like, if this sacrifice was made, who am I to not forgive or to judge or to not be able to say, you know what, this was yesterday, but this is today. So that's getting into a whole nother
yeah.
conversation.
But
But
you,
I appreciate it. I do. I
yeah.
do.
But you said the key word. You were the best daughter.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So your
Hands
grief,
down.
yes, your grief is just having that human connection with your mom, hearing her voice.
Oh
She
yeah.
left here knowing that she had the best daughter
Oh yeah. Yeah.
possibly can. And that goes into when you were saying that, thinking about making attention to live full out. When you
Yes.
make the attention to live full out, when you experience a loss, you can get back up with the sense of knowing that I gave this relationship everything I got, that I know that I was the best person that God created me to be for this person's life in this dispensation, that I did everything that my mother, father, etc., done. Me, I had to accept the fact that I was never going to have a relationship after my father, after I lost him.
Hmm.
But it took me so many years to accept that. But if I had the tools that I had now, I could have accepted it and I could have moved on a lot sooner. That prevented me from having healthy relationships. It prevented me from really showing up. It prevented me from believing in myself, because in my childlike mind, nobody else wanted me because my dad didn't want me.
Mm.
But nobody never gave me that validation to counteract my belief that I developed. If I would have had somebody to say, okay, no, this is what it really was. He loved you, but dot dot dot. I knew what I would have never came up with the conclusion that I did. Your mom left you knowing that you was loved, that you was accepted, that you was wanted, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Because that's the legacy that she had.
Hmm.
When we lose, whether it's relationships, whether it's things, whether it's people, we have to make sure that I showed up fully in that relationship. So when I have this loss, I don't have the regrets.
Mm. Yeah.
I made the best decisions possible while there was here, while I was in this relationship, because people think loss is just a person. We grieve when we lose in a relationship, divorce. We're not
Yes.
the grieving stations I went through for my divorce. So just even with you in transition with mom, relationships, all those different things, we have layers of loss.
Yes, 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 yes.
taking place. A loss of a job, there's a grieving process in that.
Right, right.
There's a detachment because most of the time we have built identities around the person, around the thing, around the situation.
That is so good. That is so, and especially speaking about the identity. So I know
Yeah.
one of the things for me, in going through my divorce is I'm like, goodness, I'm no longer Mrs. At the hyphen. It took me probably a year to take the hyphen off my name. And I'm saying to myself, Monique, what are you doing? But it was an identity thing. And you are used to living a certain way
Yeah.
and being identified a certain way. And, so it becomes your lifestyle. And when those things are removed, and I also, I think about transformation a lot, and also with the transformational coaching. And one of the things with transformation and change is that sometimes there is change that we have to deal with that is forced,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
change that we did, that we intended to do, not change that we intended to make. It wasn't because I work hard and set goals. I had to make some of these changes, these serious life changing things, because I was forced to make those changes. So when you're in a position where you are forced to make certain changes that are connected with your identity, who you are, how you live, how do you move forward in that? How do you get through that? And then how do you prepare yourself? I don't like to live where every day is good, but I'm expecting the worst. People live sometimes, they say, well, everything is good, but I'm prepared in case the worst happens. But maybe we do need to be prepared. And if so, how do we prepare ourselves?
I'm so glad you asked. Well, in one of my courses, I had a young lady to reach out. It was a topic I was talking about emotional health. And I made the statement you have to have an emotional growth plan. I
Mm,
need y'all to get this. When you have an emotional growth plan, you're not just prepared for what happens, that you have already planned this. You've already incorporated your emotional growth within your everyday life. Like I love what I do. I love the place I live. I love the car that I drive, but I'm not attached to those things. I've
mm,
learned to emotionally detach myself. So when it's time to change and pivot, which COVID taught us that
yes,
firsthand, right?
yes,
Because I know I need to be emotionally healthy. I don't want to be so attached to something or somebody and I lose my identity around it. My focus is they come into my life for me to teach them something or for them to teach me.
mm-hmm,
When it's time for you to get off my bus
mm,
of life, that I want to say that I learned the lessons that I needed from you. I gave you what God intended me to give you. Now I detach because my life is an assignment. And when
yes,
our assignment is finished, that I have to be able to move on emotionally.
that's good.
That's how I have this. I look at my emotions. I can't take it personal. I couldn't take it personal when you was going through what you was going through. I was reaching because guess what? My assignment was just to sit back and support you.
Mm,
I came into your life just after you lost your mother,
right, right,
and we instantly connected.
yep.
Like our assignments with people and with things are so much greater than we can even comprehend. And if I got emotionally caught up in Monique not answering the phone, Monique not texting me back, then I missed the assignment to be that support system you need.
Wait, can we stop right there? Because you hit a point and you hit a nerve. Okay, you hit a point, and I want to thank you for that, because that's another thing that I realized in going through in this journey, right? In this journey of loss, in this journey of self-awareness, there are so many that have taken it personal. Angela, there are so, and
Yeah.
for me, that's something that I could not understand. Um, it's just, and I can go back to even when I was going through my divorce. I had some I'm going to say sister business friends that decided, you know what, That's it, because I wasn't able to deliver or give them or pour into them or connect and do. So they decided, that's it. It was their time to exit left. And in this current time, there have literally been people, and I'll say that are very close to me, but because of what I was going through, decided to exit left because I wasn't there I wasn't responding to them the way they felt that I should. Um, I wasn't there the way I was before. So I did I got offended about that. And, that's a good point. And that's something that we don't talk about. But for you to say that you understood and understanding about your assignment and still being there, even if we didn't talk for a couple of weeks, reaching out, sending a text, hey, what's going, what advice can you give to people that are taking it personal? And it's not, I just didn't have it to give. I didn't have it to respond. I literally just had to sit, but what advice can you give to people that might be dealing with someone that's going through what I went through and was behaving the way I was behaving?
You know what? Because I am a trainer, because of my ministerial background, because of over 40 years plus an experience of dealing with people and women with going through different things, I would just say simply learn to mature.
Mm.
Learn to mature and give people their space. You have to show people love, compassion. One of the things that I really instill in my coaches is that you have to have the discipline of believing in people. People go through things. People go through transitions. People go through different shifts in their life and learning to navigate. And if you hold that personal, you will mess up relationships that was meant to catapult your life.
Amen.
Period.
That's good.
So for me, I would tell that person, just learn to have compassion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then for like a person like you that you experience these different things, when people already know what you have been through and experienced, and especially with people investing in your business and all those different things, just ask for grace.
Mm-hmm. That's
Just ask for grace. Can I have grace for a moment in my super duper dope anointing to be human for a moment?
right. Right.
Can I just have grace to grieve the mother who gave me life?
Mm.
You going through a separation and you lost your mother?
Right. Right.
Just because I look like I'm strong don't mean I'm emotionally strong, sis. Just
Right.
because I have all these amazing things going on don't mean that I'm emotionally put together. Give me some grace.
Right. Right. That's good.
I understand that you have money invested in it, but please give me grace.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
promise when I get to a whole and complete place, I will show up in the full integrity, the same person that you met when you invested in my business. Give me grace.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's
good.
the advice. Give me grace.
That is really good. Um, and I appreciate that, because that is something that it also goes with showing the vulnerability,
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
am I not to be vulnerable and not to be able to show my feelings. I got to a point where I'm like, look, I'm just as real as everyone else. I go through stuff just like everyone else. And I have moments when I have to stop. And it was literally during that time where I didn't have anything to give. I couldn't pour, I couldn't empower, I couldn't do that. I just did not have
You
it.
didn't need to.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you had to fill your cup up. You didn't need to. And that's what people have to understand. That's the mindset of the hustle, the growth, and the grind. That's why I'm so adamant of really about coaching women to embrace that level of femininity. Femininity says, sis, I need a moment.
Yes.
Femininity says, I gotta process this thing. I'm
Yeah.
not dealing well with this loss.
Yeah.
I need to just sit in it, cry, and release a moment.
Yeah.
Because within that, now I can be the person that I need to be.
Right.
This is one of the key things that I believe everyone should incorporate. Let's say you're going through something and you're used to people always coming to you, picking your brain, you praying for them. Just stop and ask yourself before you answer that phone, do I have in me to give to this person at that moment?
Right.
And can I be open enough to say, you know what? I can't even give today. I can't give no advice. I can't even take on what you have going on.
Right.
Please don't be offended, but I cannot pour into you today.
Yeah. That's good.
And
That's
and be real, and don't doubt yourself, or don't be hard on yourself when you can't come through. We're not superheroes. We have superpower, but we're not superheroes.
yes. And that's another thing too. We're not going to even get into the superhero, superwoman thing, because the strong woman thing, that's a whole nother
Yeah.
show. I am over it. I am totally that is the past.
And get this, the need to please people. That's why we continue to go on and go on. I have to please this person, which you're really covering up rejection. So,
Right.
sis, when you're in your process of getting up, sometimes you can't pick up the phone.
Right.
Sometimes you can't take the call. Sometimes you can't answer the email because it's so vital for you to be able to get up in your full power. It's so vital for you to get up in your full anointing so that you can continue the assignment and the legacy. So many people have killed themselves.
Mm.
So many people have given up. So many people have had nervous breakdowns because they were not able to stop and stand still before they got up.
Wow.
Certain people, they got up and they were still hurting, and they went and they continued on. We seen that in the pandemic because suicide increased
Yes. Yes.
because people were facing losses, but they didn't have the adequate tools to get up. You got to sit down before you can get up. When if
That's
I
good.
sit up in this chair, I have to embrace myself before I get up.
Right.
That means my arms have to have strength.
Sit
Your
down before you get up. That's good.
your
That's
spirit
good.
have to have strength. Your mind have to have strength.
Mm-hmm.
Too many times we've been getting up crippled. But I want you to declare that this time when I get up, I'm getting up whole. I'm getting up healed. I'm getting up and I'm going to have a full cup because my assignment requires me to get up in a certain level of power.
Amen. That's good. And those that are watching, look, could you put that in the chat? First of all, put in the chat, sis, get up. Then I need you to put in the chat, you have to sit down before you get up. So anyone that is going through any type of trauma, if you're going through any type of loss, understand that one, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to process. It's okay to stop, right? It's okay to pause. What is not okay to do is to stay in it year after year after year after year and not move forward based on things that you can't control.
Yes.
Our coach and my friend AB, Coach AB said, get the professional help, speak to someone, pause, replenish your cup because you can't pour into others, and make sure that you're in the right environment. Make sure you're in the environment with those that can understand, with those that can pour into you, with those that can say, you know what, I know you need a break, but also those that are going to say to you, all right, how's it going? Are you ready? You have to make sure that you are also in the right environment. And then one of the biggest lessons is give yourself grace. And in the beginning, that's not what I was doing. There was so much demand on me based on just personal, professional, business. But give yourself grace. It is okay to take a step back for yourself while you are grieving, going through, processing, replenishing your cup. So Coach AB, I want to thank you for that. Listen, if you enjoyed this, put it in the chat. But before we go, there's some things that are going on. Let me tell you, there. Look, the updates are about to start coming. I do want to say, I want to announce that I am one of the speakers at the Her Fire Tour in Connecticut. I am super excited about that. We have some things going on with the SIS Network. SIS Network magazine is going to be launched. We also have a Mother's Day virtual summit, which is going to be Saturday, May 13th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the theme of that summit is elevation. I just want you to think about that and sit on that for a while. The theme of that summit is elevation. And it's interesting because I was a little upset. I'm like, goodness, we're in April. We're almost halfway through the year. And I really have not done anything, but I needed to sit down.
Yeah.
Right. And I needed to rest, regroup, and replenish before I got up. I also.
Look at this. What a way to celebrate your journey where you are now and getting back up on Mother's Day.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I never met your mom. I've seen pictures. I've connected with her. But I can hear your mother saying, okay, Monique, now it's time for you to elevate.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What a way to come back and get up and walk in this next level of anointing.
Yes.
Because if people don't understand, I'm just waiting to hear everything that God showed you.
Mm.
All the revelations.
Yeah.
Elevate.
Yeah. And that is so good.
Power in you that you haven't even tapped in yet that needs to be released in this season of women's elevation.
Wow. That is good. That's why this is my sister right here and my coach. We all need a coach. Y'all messing around talk about, oh, I'm a coach. I don't need a coach. No, I need a coach. Okay. That's why my sister and my coach, you need to have a tight circle. And I say it all the time. You need to have a circle of women that will pour into you, that will empower you, that will give you grace and also uplift you and let you know, like, put that, Coach AB has no problem with reaching out, like, what's up? what's going on? What you doing? So I appreciate that. And that is one of the things, that we have created, and we met virtually, being in the same group, but the relationship has continued to strengthen over the past weeks, the months. We're going into years, and I know it's going to continue. Before we go, could you just tell us a little bit about the Her Fire Tour?
You know what? I'm so excited. When God was giving me the vision for the Her Fire Tour for 23, he kept saying the year of acceleration. The year of acceleration. And it's not what you think, right? And he gave me 6 master keys to accelerate your growth. I want you to sit on that for a moment, because we always talk about God win. God open the door. But God is saying to you that you have to accelerate your growth, because when I open the door, you may not be mature enough to walk in it. You may not be mature enough to stay in it. When I accelerate your growth in your business, you may not be the person that you need to be to sustain that business. So I want to send the Her Fire Tour to your city to help you with some master keys that's going to accelerate your growth. My mission this year is to reintroduce or to introduce women to their higher self. Because we've been operating our lower self for way too long. Your higher self is saying, I'm here, I'm waiting for you to embrace me. You deserve to be me. You are worth being me. And that's my mission for my message for the Her Fire Tour, is to give you these master keys to help accelerate your growth. So, ladies, if you're anywhere near Connecticut, Atlanta, Myrtle Beach, the Bahamas, Richmond, Baltimore, Detroit, Cleveland, Raleigh, Charlotte, go to www.herfiretour.com. And if you say, how do I know this for me? I'm gonna tell you why I know it's exactly for you if you're listening. Because you keep praying. You've been fasting. You've been frustrated. You've been on the verge of giving up because there is so much in you. You've been gifted, but you've been frustrated. You've been talented, but you have been broke. And you keep saying, God, I need to get all this out of me. Where do I go? Who do I connect with? That's why the Her Fire Tour is for you. You may also be that woman you say, you know what? I want to be a speaker, but I'm afraid. I want to be a coach, but I don't think I'm good enough. I want to write a book, but I barely can read myself. And I know that my story can empower somebody else. You need to be in the room, sis.
Wow.
You may also be this third woman that you have gave yourself to everybody, done everything for everybody else, and you saying now is my time to reclaim my life. Now is my time to fully to walk in my purpose. I want to be selfish in this phase of my life. You may be newly divorced, you may be an empty nester, whatever the case you may be, you say it is my time. I'm tired of doing everything for everybody else. It's time for me to walk in my purpose because I do not want to die with all these gifts in me. I don't want to die with regrets. I don't want to leave here and I did not write the book. I don't want to leave here and I was too afraid to give God a full yes. So go
Amen.
to the website, www.herfiretour.com. Make a girls trip out of it and just be in the building. You can see me, Monique. We have promo codes that give you $30 off your tickets. There's no excuses. You have Sizzle, Affirm, Afterpay, and y'all already know what those is. For free interest payments. So I took away the excuses because you've been running long enough.
Mm. That is so good. Look, acceleration. And I didn't even realize that the theme and this, and I don't even want to say this is for this year. This is for this season. This is
Yeah,
for this time. It is about elevation. It is about your time to accelerate. And how
yeah,
do you do that? You can't do that if you're not in the room with the right people. And I say that all the time. Check your circle, right? Does your circle need to become a dot? Look at those people that you are connected to. I am connected to a group
yeah,
of dynamic, powerful women that continue to pour into me and say, come on, sis, let's go. You are not the expert of everything. There are some things that you need to learn. So put yourself in the room with
yeah,
others who know things that you don't. Put yourself in the room with others where you can bring your expertise and share with those women. You have a story and you have a voice. And in this time of elevation, it is time for you to use your voice, right? Use your voice. You have something to say. Tell your story. And what people don't realize is that our voice and our voice is ours, right? Now, story happened to us, but it's not for us. It is for the next person to be able to hear and be empowered and to be moved. There is someone waiting to hear from
yeah.
you
Yes, it is. It
that
is.
can only be moved, Coach AB, the way you can move them, right? There
That's that.
is someone that can only be moved, that can only hear, that can only connect when they hear it from you. There's someone that can only move, only be connected when they hear it from me. There is someone, to all of the women in the audience and the men that are watching, that are waiting to hear it from you, your way, your unique style, your unique voice, okay, your unique story, so they can be moved to their next level.
And
Look,
look and get this. If you say I'm ready to share my story and I know I need a framework, I know I need training, you can I got you. I got you. Throughout the month of April, I am doing a promo of $200 off the speakers training and the life coaching training. Like
what?
what better way to start your year of acceleration, to start your elevation by getting the training. Most of us we try to wing it. Most of us we say, "Oh, I'm just going to practice." You can't practice effectively without a structure. You can't show up effectively unless you have a coach and a trainer that's going to
Yes.
show you this is how you do it. And if that's you, you can go ahead on over to www.angelabrandenterprise.com. Everything is already on the website for you. Is this your time to say, I want my story to be heard because I know my story can change? Look at this, to change and transform the
Yeah.
trajectory of somebody else's life.
Yes.
It can change their outlook.
Yeah.
I have had people in the audiences when I've spoken that was on the verge of suicide.
Mm.
I have helped speak people from slitting their wrists, blowing their brains out, because I decided to step up and use my voice to be impactful in their life.
Wow.
Not because I was getting paid for it, because it's my assignment.
Wow.
That's why.
Coach
And if I
AB.
wasn't in a position, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Mm. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me today, for pushing me to be here today. This is the beginning, and the SIS Table Talk is aired, just so everyone knows, it is every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We are on YouTube as well as Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. If you have not liked or subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Sisters Inspire Sisters. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. This is just the beginning. If you have a topic that you would like to speak about, if you would like to be a co-host or a guest, please go to the Sisters Inspire Sisters website and listen. We will see you again next Thursday. Coach AB, thank you so much.
You
Listen,
all,
everyone, have a great evening.